blessed full moon. 33, 33, 33 miraculous births. Now, I want you to pay very close attention to these 33 miraculous births, these 33 amazing births, these 33 just otherworldly births. And then you tell me if Jesus or Moses is special. You tell me. I'll let you come to your own conclusions. Welcome to The Real God Is Not in the Bible. We're here every Wednesday night, not Sunday night. We're here every Wednesday night, which Wednesday, with The Real God Is Not in the Bible. And how you loving, how you loving? Come on in, come on in. And I am Reverend Valerie Love, your hostess with the mostest, and I'm currently writing the book, The Real God Is Not in the Bible. And in this episode of the podcast, we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to take you inside the book. Delicious. I'm going to take you inside the book so that you can see what's coming. And I hope, hey, Queen B, how you loving, how you loving? So you can see what is inside the book. And if you already have the book, it is available right now on Amazon as an ebook. And soon it will be coming out in paperback and hardcover, special edition hardcover on Kickstarter. So let's go on screen share and get right into it, shall we? Now, the information that I'm going to show you in this conversation is somewhat shocking. Somewhat shocking. I do want to put this is inside my book. We're inside of the actual manuscript. And I want to call your attention, first of all, to a quote from Dr. Joel Baden, who is professor of Hebrew Bible at Yale Divinity School. So I believe that Yale is a reputable place. And Dr. Joel Baden said, nothing in the Bible about Moses is historically verifiable or even remotely plausible or true. Ouch! Dr. Joel Baden is smack, smack, smack. That's what he does to us with his statements. Smack, 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 waking us up from our religious stupor that we still think that there was really a person named Moses. Now, Jesus could well have been a person named Jesus. However, I'm going to show you in a little bit that the birth stories of these people, both people who are historical figures and people who are fictional characters. Moses is a fictional character. Sargon is a historical figure. And I'll tell you how we know the difference. That when these people, both historical figures and mythic characters, as they become great, their birth stories are amended or blown out of proportion or exaggerated. For what purpose? It's a literary motif to signal to the reader that this person is great. This person is amazing. This person is about to change the whole world. This person is about to save us from all the darkness. This person is about to do the most amazing things. And look, we can tell because when they were born, this happened. And I want you to examine what I'm going to share with you in this conversation because it is just so shocking. That's why I have it in the book. It's so shocking. It's so shocking. So let's get into it. I want to share with you 3 motifs. Now, we have talked about these motifs previously on the channel, and I want to talk about these motifs again. Here are the 3 motifs that we want to look at. These are in the book. We have the exposed infant or exposed hero motif. I'll tell you what's involved in that motif. We have the divine child motif, and we have the foundling motif. And then after we talk about a little bit about the motifs, I'm going to show you these 33. I have them listed out, 33. I added this in case you have an earlier version of the book. Updated version, I promise you I'm done if you already bought the ebook. So if you already bought the ebook, you will have this version shortly. That's why I only release the ebook to the public, because I can update ebooks. We cannot update print books. So that's why the print book will not be released until I am complete with this book, which is just an amazing book. Okay, so let's talk about these three motifs. First, let's talk about the exposed infant motif. Because when we talk about these motifs, and once you see them, you cannot unsee them. Once you see them, you cannot unsee them. What are they? Here's the exposed infant motif. The life of the baby is in peril. Sargon of Akkad, Moses, Jesus, Harry. If you're saying, who the heck is Sargon? I tell you who Sargon is earlier in in this chapter as well. So we'll talk a little bit about Sargon in a minute. Sargon is of the Akkadian Empire, and he is an actual historical king with historical archaeological evidence proving his existence beyond just what the Bible says. And I don't want to say just what the Bible says, as if the Bible is lying. The Bible is giving us code. The Bible is not from God. It's not inspired by God. It has nothing to do with God. The Bible is our book, written by people of whom we know not. We don't even know who wrote it. I mean, that should be a tip off right there. We don't know who wrote it. We don't know not one person who wrote it. And if you say, well, we do have the letters of Paul. Well, for many years, I have that in the book too. Critics, historical textual criticism of the Bible, okay? The academics who do textual criticism of the Bible doesn't mean they're criticizing the Bible. It means that they're studying it to come to conclusions. Textual criticism of the Bible, these scholars have for many years held the opinion or the conclusion that there are only 7 letters of Paul of the 13 that are attributed to him with his name. There are only 7 that are actually Pauline letters. But now the work of Dr. Nina Livesey, she even topples that perhaps there was no person named Paul at all. That's another conversation. So how could he have written even 7 books? That's another conversation for another day. Right now, we're going to go deeper into this exposed infant motif. So first of all, a baby is born and the baby's life is in peril. Then the baby gets abandoned or meets with hostile or unfriendly conditions, or somehow the baby is in a place where the baby could die. This is, once again, the birth narrative of Sargon of Akkad. Now, Sargon is a historical figure, yet we do understand that even with historical figures, people, once the figure has proven that their greatness and they've conquered the evil or they conquered the world or something like that, then retroactively they go back and write things that happened when they were born. And so that's what happened with Sargon of Akkad. The birth story just kept growing, even though there could be seeds of truth to the story. I'll tell you his birth story in a moment. The baby is rescued from these hostile conditions. That's also Sargon, Moses, Jesus, Harry Potter, Kal-El, Superman. All right. Remember, he comes here in a pod in amid a meteor shower. Superman. This baby is the chosen one, but this fact has not yet been revealed. Once again, Sargon, Moses, Jesus, Harry Potter, Buddha. This baby grows up to be a powerful leader. Sargon, all of the above. Okay, so that is the exposed infant motif. Somehow the infant is out, is life is in peril, and the infant is in hostile conditions. Somehow, we're going to bring this all home in a bit. We're going to wrap this with a pretty bow. And this is the chosen one. So how can this baby not survive? And somehow the baby is rescued. Okay, so that's the exposed infant motif. I say more about the exposed infant motif in the book, of course. Now let's go to the divine child motif. This is another one. This is a divine child is among us. Okay, here's a divine child. A supernatural or miraculous birth involving a virgin. Yes, not just Mother Mary. Mother Mary is in a long, 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 long line of virgin births. Jesus was not special. And the birth narrative of Jesus was revised to make him divine. Because we know virgins can't have children. We do know virgins can't have children, and we do know that the Holy Spirit cannot make a person pregnant. And we also know that miracles do not defy physics. Miracles don't defy physics. Okay, so let's continue. So there's a supernatural or miraculous birth that involves a virgin, a barren woman, or a woman past childbearing age. How many of them do we have? Isaac, the twins, Jacob and Esau, Joseph, Samson, Samuel, Melchizedek. Mary's mother, Anna, she's not in the Bible. Yet, if you read the banned books of the Bible, right? The ones that were deemed too heretical to make it into our Bible, you will find the story of Mary's mother, Anna, who was also barren in her old age when her and her husband had Mary. Jesus, of course, John the Baptist. Okay, now going further with this divine child. So the divine child is somehow coming from a virgin, or from this is to denote that this child is untouched by the sin of humanity. It doesn't have a father, and the mother never had sex. Okay? Or the mother is barren, or the mother is past childbearing age. Okay? Divine child motif. Let's continue with it. There are portents that attend the birth, storms, signs in the heavens, moon, sun, stars, something's happening, shooting stars, or prophetic dreams. There's going to be some kind of portents around this child, portents and signs. Thank Jesus. Remus and Romulus, I'll tell you their story in a moment. Buddha, I'll tell you Buddha's story in a moment. Buddha's birth narrative. Going further with this divine child motif, the divine child's life is in danger. That there it overlaps a tiny bit with the exposed infant or exposed hero motif. It overlaps just a tiny bit, yet these are two distinct motifs. The divine child's life is in danger. Thus, the caretakers of the child have to flee with the child or hide the child in a place of safety. Sargon, Moses, Jesus, Harry Potter. The child having a modest upbringing that belies their inherent divine nature. So they're really a god, or they're really divine, yet they're living this very mundane life. Jesus, he was raised by a carpenter. Sargon was raised by a humble farmer. They have to make the story. Harry Potter raised by his aunt and uncle, muggles. And his uncle, one of the worst kind of muggles ever, right? This is a family, terrible family of muggles. The child has to be so far from their true destiny because this is a divine child, but they're in this pigsty, so to speak. Okay? The child experiences some catalytic moment or series of events that awaken the child to its true divine nature and or hero status. Moses at the burning bush. Like somewhere in their life, they're going to have this awakening. Hey, Moses, you're at the burning bush. I chose you. You're going to go set my people free. Oh, wow. Jesus, baptized. I think I should go get baptized. Gets baptized. Comes out of the Jordan River. Dove, here's mine. You're none of us. You're a walking God. Harry Potter and the Dementors. Between the Dementors, Professor Umbridge, and the Ministry of Magic going rogue, it awakens Harry to start Dumbledore's army. Okay, the child developing into a leader. So let me take the Dumbledore's army part and put it into this segment where it really belongs. The catalytic moment for Harry is when he starts to get all this pressure from, especially the torture from Professor Umbridge. The child developing into a leader as it matures, galvanizing forces to stand against the evil, or the new hero will save people or the world. Moses and Aaron and the Israelites, Harry Potter and Dumbledore's army, Jesus and the 12 apostles. The hero becomes well known to be divine and specifically sent by God or the gods to right wrongs, save something, make something right. Now, let me come off screen share for a moment. And I want to have a conversation with you about this. Because I do understand that this, let me come off screen share, stop screen sharing. I want to have a conversation with you about this because I do understand. Isn't it profound? Isn't it profound? This stuff, as I'm studying it, my head sometimes feels like it's going to explode. Wait till you see the 33. Wait till you see the 33 children. 33 miraculous birds. And I probably could have put 50 in the book. I had to stop somewhere. I stopped at a master number 33. Think to yourself, why did we ever believe this book is from God? People drilled that into our heads. That's why we believed it. We didn't believe it on the merits of the book itself. Because in the first half of the book, the God is absolutely heinous. The God is not only as a trickster, you're going to die if you eat the fruit. Well, they ate the fruit, but you didn't die. I changed my mind. What? The God says, oh, I made Adam and Eve. It's so good. Couple of chapters later, even in the same book of the Bible, all humanity is evil. Kill them all, except Noah. Put all the animals on an ark. What? The God kills the animals, all the animals 3 times. Three different plagues kill all the animals. The God Alzheimer's, like somebody said in the comments, and I was cracking up. And then at the end, where do the Egyptians get horses from for their chariots to race after the Israelites? I mean, is anybody asking these questions? It's nonsensical. And it is very apparent that it is nonsensical if we put on our scrutinizing glasses, we take off our religious glasses, we are no longer bound by religion. We now can see the truth for what it is. The Bible is an amazing collection of books written over centuries, possibly a millennium, could be a millennium, and by different people in different places, none of whom do we know. To make it worse, we don't have the originals of the Bible. We don't have copies of the originals of the Bible. We don't have copies of the originals of the Bible, according to Dr. Bart Ehrman. So what do we have? Scraps, fragments. We have what was copied from the other one, copied. We have those. We have Codex Sinaiticus, Codex Vaticanus, Codex Vaticanus, that's true, Codex Alexandrinus. And we don't have the originals of the Bible. So if anybody tells you that this is exactly what the Bible said, they are lying. Period. End of story. No one knows what the Bible originally said because we don't have it. We don't have it. It is time we came to these hard facts about the Bible. And once we come to the hard facts about the Bible, we can begin to treat the Bible as it truly is, no different than the Odyssey, no different than the Iliad and the Odyssey. We can treat it just like Homer. We can treat it just like Shakespeare. An amazing collection of work, and get from it what you will get from it. I get so much from the Bible. I love the Bible. It's written by humans for other humans. God ain't got nothing to do with it. Be clear. Let's continue with these babies. And I pray the scales fall from all our eyes, right? Come on, family. We are being awakened to the actual truth of our origins and the truth about the Bible. All right, so now we understand the divine child motif. Let's look at the foundling motif, and then we're going to look at examples. Okay, the foundling motif is that the baby's found. So the baby was in peril, and the baby had to be hidden, or they had to run away with the baby, or they had to put the baby in nature, and now the baby's found. We need the foundling motif. We need that someone found the baby to continue the story. Otherwise, the baby died in the woods or died in the basket in the river. We need someone to find the baby. This is the foundling motif. The baby who is abandoned is found or discovered by kind-hearted or compassionate people, or maybe taken to relatives: Moses, Jesus, Sargon, Harry Potter. Moses, we know the story, put in a basket, floated among the reeds in the Nile River. Why? Because the evil pharaohs decreed to kill all the Hebrew babies. How many Hebrew babies were being born? Well, according to the story, there were 600,000 able bodied men, which would make men, women, and children total 2.5 million or 2 million. Take your pick. And how many midwives did they have? 2. What? Wait a minute. You're in New York City with millions of people, half in New York City, millions of people. So when I was growing up in New York City, it was 8 million people in New York City. Okay, let's take a quarter of New York City. And you got 2 million people. It says it right in the Bible. Pharaoh called the midwives, called the meeting of the midwives. How many? 2. How did I believe this? Oh my goodness. It's fantastical. It's beautiful. I love the fantasy of it. So he calls the 2 midwives and tells them, okay, I want all of them. If it's a boy, kill him. And the midwives, they feared God, so they didn't do it. So of course, when Moses was born, life in peril, danger, put him in a basket, float him on the river. The child is found. The Pharaoh's daughter, raised away from his people. Here it goes. The child is raised by common people, or in some cases, animals like Tarzan. Isn't Moses the same as Tarzan? It's the same. Okay. No one knows who this child is. So this child, this divine or elite or royal child, no one knows who this child is in this part of the story when they find him or her. They don't know that this child is going to be magical, or is going to have divine gifts, or is going to lead the people, or is going to vanquish the darkness. They don't know those things yet. Okay. So then I give you distinctions between the motifs. But now let's look at these 33 birds. Start with Jesus, because that's my homie. I love me some Jesus. I am a Christian witch. Born of a virgin, as we know. That fits the motif. A bright star leads the Magi to his precise location. Which motifs are these? This is Jesus fits all 3 motifs. He fits the exposed hero motif, exposed infant, exposed hero motif. He fits the divine child motif, and he also fits the foundling motif, because of course they had to race away with him because the evil Herod wanted to kill him. The evil Herod wanted to kill all the babies. Now, meanwhile, there is 0 historical evidence for either even a pharaoh ordering a infanticide. The pharaohs of Egypt didn't commit infanticide. These are made up stories. And neither did Herod commit infanticide. Now, he might not have been a nice guy. He didn't commit infanticide. Let's go further. Kuan Yin. Her birth was accompanied by brilliant light and celestial music. That's so beautiful. Buddha. Buddha was said to have been born out of his mother's side. His mother was traveling and she had a prophetic dream of a white elephant. Here goes the exposed infant motif, the divine child motif, these portents, these signs that attend the birth. And say he was born out of his mother's side. It was quite possible. And his mother died 7 days after she gave birth to him. And when the Buddha came out, they say he took 7 steps when he was born. You see these incredible birth stories. All right, let's look at Krishna, Lord Krishna, born in a prison during a tempest. Here goes the heavenly body, a tempest, a storm. Alexander the Great, his mother is said to have had a dream of a thunderbolt striking her womb. And this is kind of hinting that Zeus was the father. And the temple of Artemis burned down the night he was born. And what did they make of that? They said Artemis was away. A goddess was away from her temple tending to the birth of Alexander the Great. Now, Alexander the Great is an actual human being, an actual historical human being. Yet, remember, people will go back and they will tweak, exaggerate, invent birth narratives around this person who has now grown up to be great. They got to go back and make Alexander the Great's birth stupendous. Athena, goddess Athena, she burst forth out of her father's head, Zeus. So when I was in Greece, I was in Athens at Athena's temple. Love it. And there's a beautiful olive tree right there outside of her temple, a beautiful olive tree. I was so happy to see that olive tree because Athena, that was her gift to the people of Greece, is the olive tree. And she is, to this day, Athena owns Athens. I mean, her name's on it, Athens. Athena was in her father's head. Zeus had a splitting headache. And Athena burst out of her father's head during a storm, fully formed, ready to go to war. Okay? Athena is a goddess. Augustus Caesar. Augustus Caesar, for whom the month of August is named. We have Julius Caesar and Augustus Caesar to thank for July and August. I don't know if we want to thank them or not because they threw the rest of the year off. Because Sept is 7, but it's the 9th month. Oct is 8, yet it's the 10th month. Dec is 10. Dec for December. Dec is 10. Yes, 12. Julius Caesar and Augustus Caesar wanted to put some months in there named after them. So, hey, it's whatever. The Romans could just change the calendar. Augustus Caesar, historical figure, his father purportedly had a dream of the sun rising from his wife's womb. Okay, what about Zoroaster? These are from all over the world. These are from all over the world, and these are fictional characters. These are gods and goddesses. These are divine people. These are historical figures, and these are people from the Bible. These are all over the map, just to show you how much we love these birth stories. They're all over the world. Zoroaster, founder of Zoroastrianism. Celestial lights filled the air, and demons cried out in fear at his birth. Ah! Great light has been born. He got the demons over there in fear when he was born. I particularly love number 8. I love that birth story. I love that for you, Zoroaster. Apollonius of Tyana, his birth was heralded by lightning flash and a celestial choir. Ah! Are you starting to see some themes? Prophet Muhammad. Lights illuminated the palaces of Syria and Persia. Idols in Mecca fell. All the idols are falling down. when the prophet is born. And a fire, long tended by Zoroastrians, went out when the prophet was born. How's that? We're born and we're going to take out the others and we're going to devastate that religion because ours is going to be the best religion. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Fatima. This is the daughter of Muhammad, or Fatima, however you'd like to say it. This is Muhammad's daughter. And she has been said to be born during an eclipse, or her birth was accompanied by lights. And she is known as the light of Muhammad. Napoleon Bonaparte. He was born amid lightning in a violent storm. Are you starting to see themes? Okay, Harry Potter. There was a prophecy concerning his birth, so he fits a divine child motif, the one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord. Life in peril, raised in humble surroundings by people who do not recognize or know of the special powers of this child. He becomes a leader, he vanquishes the darkness. Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker's father, conceived by the Force. Wait a minute, Anakin Skywalker, was that Luke Skywalker's father? Because I think Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father. Anakin Skywalker, conceived by the Force, thus a veritable virgin conception, because he was not conceived by a father, he was conceived by the Force. May the Force be with you. Jedi prophecy also identified him as the chosen one. The chosen one. Kal-El. What about Superman? He's born during the destruction of Krypton, with his arrival on Earth accompanied by a meteor storm. He performs superhuman feats on behalf of humanity. He fits all three of the motifs. Paul Atreides. I love Paul Atreides of Dune. Who loves Dune? Yeah, remember? His birth fulfills the Bene Gesserit's prophecy. He's the one who bridges time and space. Dreams and visions and planetary omens mark his coming. He's the one. Except not everyone believes he's the one when you watch Dune, right? Some believe he's the one. Some don't believe he's the one. Paul Atreides, I freaking love that. Oh, what about Daenerys Targaryen? Let's go over to some Game of Thrones. See, this is everywhere. And you know what? Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You're going to be reading a book. You're going to be, oh, damn, there goes the exposed infant motif. Okay, the child is in a river. Okay, oh, there goes the divine child motif. Oh, here's they found him. They found the baby. Rev was right. Here's the foundling motif. You're going to just be able to pick it out of story after story after story after story. And this is what the Bible is. The Bible is stories. And the Bible is no different from the stories of Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings. I love those too. I love Harry Potter too. I love them all. Daenerys Targaryen. Her birth on Dragonstone occurs during the worst storm in memory, remember? Thus, when they're speaking of her, queen, mother of dragons, stormborn, unburnt, free of slaves. Oh, she has so many epithets. I love that about her. It's about a 10-minute announcement before Daenerys Targaryen walks in the room. Leader of the first men in the Andals. I freaking love all that stuff. Sitting on the Iron Throne, right? Moses, number 18, Moses. Are y'all, let me pause for a moment. We're up to number 18. We're almost halfway through all 33. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me get you. Y'all tell me your thoughts about this. Hold on. Stop screen share. Ooh. Okay, stop screen share. Okay. Y'all tell me your thoughts. Can I see your thoughts about this? Because I truly want to understand what everyone is thinking as you hear these. What's going through your mind? What are your thoughts? How are you looking at the Bible? What conclusions are you coming to? What's happening with you? What's happening? You are in this conversation. What's happening? I want to know because I love reading the comments about this. And I just want to know what is happening in your mind as you read these, as you hear of these, as you consider these. What's happening for you? I wonder if it's anything similar to what was happening for me. And what continues to happen for me as I work on this book, because this book is freaking mind blowing. Let's continue. Okay, so let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts? Just tell me. Tell me what your thoughts are, since we have many of these in the Bible. Okay, let's continue. Okay. Moses, Sargon. All right. Here's number 18. Moses. Of course, we know his life was in peril. He was floated in a basket on a river, like several others on this list. And he was fashioned to people who raise him with no knowledge he's going to become a savior. He's the divine child. Isaac, born to Sarah, past childbearing age and barren. Hannah gave birth to Samuel. Hannah was barren. She prays and prays and prays in the temple. The high priest sees her and he says, she's praying, praying, praying so dramatically that the high priest thinks she's drunk. He's like, hey, you're supposed to be in a temple drunk. She's like, am I drunk? I'm praying. He's like, oh, my bad. He ain't say my bad. That's the gospel according to Reverend Valerie Love. Okay. Esau and Jacob. I love these stories. Born to Rachel, or not Rachel, Rebecca. Esau and Jacob were born to Rebecca, who was barren. Rebecca was barren, and she only was able to give birth after her husband Isaac prayed for his wife to be able to bear children, and quote unquote, the Lord opened her womb. I suspect the Anunnaki came with their genetic splicing and tools and were able to grant many of these women children. They were genetic specialists, and Ninmah was a birth specialist. Joseph, born to Rachel, who was barren until God remembered her. Samson. Bible doesn't mention Samson's mother's name, yet his mother was barren and beyond childbearing age. It's almost like barren, virgin, beyond childbearing age means somebody God really likes. John the Baptist, born to Elizabeth, who was barren and past childbearing age. Mother Mary. Now, let me ask you a question. If these were real people, let me ask you about this. I have 3 children. The birth story of each of these 3 children is so different and varied motif. Now, I want you to think about this. Think of 10 people that you know. What are the chances that any of them have the same exact birth story? All 10, or 2 of the 10, or 3 of the 10, or half of the 10. What's the likelihood? 0. Because real life is varied. It's unique. It doesn't fit a motif. So that gives us clues. The Bible is giving us clues as to how to take these stories, as mythologies, as former writers writing things that they think we should know. People died for this information. So I do know that we ought to take it seriously. It fits literary conventions, not God's writing. It fits literary conventions that humans wrote this. It definitely fits that. John Baptist, as we said. Mother Mary, born to Anna, who was barren and past childbearing age, until an angel came and announces to her and her husband, you're going to have a child. Her husband was actually away at the temple. If you read this forbidden book of the Bible, her husband was actually away at the temple in Jerusalem, and she was back home, and the angel appeared to her And then the angel appeared to him. And the angel told her, oh, don't worry, you're going to have a baby. Melchizedek. His mother's name was Sothanim. Sothanim was barren. And in her old age, and in one text in Second Enoch, it says that she got pregnant without having sex with her husband, Ner. Was that an immaculate conception? Melchizedek's mother got pregnant with him, being barren, past childbearing age, and didn't have sex with her husband. Dionysus. I like Dionysus' story because Dionysus, his mother, Semele, she was one of Zeus's lovers. And Zeus' wife, Hera, do you remember in Greek mythology how jealous she was over her husband because her husband was sleeping around all the time? Zeus was always out somewhere banging somebody, just having kids all over the place. And Hera didn't like it. And Hera said to Semele, because, she's pregnant, she's Zeus's lover and she's pregnant. And so Hera tells Semele, have Zeus, ask Zeus to show you himself in his true divine form. Now, Semele is a mortal woman. Hera was not. Hera is a goddess, right? So she could behold Zeus in his divine form. However, Semele beheld Zeus. She went to him and asked him, show me your divine form. And when he did, she died. Now, as she was dying, Zeus was like, oh, shoot. And he scoops the baby out of her womb. And he puts the infant in his thigh. It sews him up in there to let him finish his gestation. And then Dionysus was born. So they say Dionysus had two births. He was born from his mother as she was dying, and then Zeus hit him, tucked him away in his thigh. I'm going to hold on to this right here. And then when he came to full gestation, he was born out of Zeus's thigh. So he's twice born. Dionysus is twice born. Remus and Romulus, supposedly of Rome, fathered by the god Mars with a Vestal Virgin, Rhea. Now, the uncle's twins, tell me if this sounds like Heru and Heru, aka Horus. The Greeks called him Horus. King Amulius ordered for Remus and Romulus, the twins, to be drowned in the Tiber River. But a servant secretly placed them in a basket that floated them to safety. And we thought Moses was the only one in a basket on the river. Oh, no. Oh, no. He's not the only one. It's many. The evil king Amulius wants to kill the twins. And we know the story that a she-wolf found them and she suckled them. That was miraculous. And she took care of them. So they were raised out like Tarzan style. Heru, his life was in danger as a baby. From who? His evil uncle Set. What happens? Isis, or Set, hides him in a basket among the reeds in the Nile River. The crocodile-infested Nile River, by the way. To keep him away from his uncle Set. By the way, let me pause here for a moment because there's something I want to share with you. Let me pause right here for a quick moment. Oh my goodness. Let's see what y'all are saying. I want to understand. It just sounds like people like certain motifs in their stories. And that's true. That's very true. My son just said the miraculous birth trope is the worst. Carla, I love your son. I cannot wait to meet him. He is so wise. He is so wise. Oh my goodness, he's so wise. I was just about to say that. Nothing new under the sun. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, here's what I want to say to you about Egypt. And I want to say this to you also about our retreat on the winter solstice next week. I'm reminded to say this to you. that I want you to go into 2020, your next year. As I film this, this is 2025, and we're going into 2026 in a couple of months. If you're watching this 5 years from now, it's the same. On the winter solstice, we will be in Miami on the beach, a group of us, in an incredible retreat that we hold on the winter solstice in a circle with our ritual with plant medicine. And I want you to be there with us. I want you to be there. And the way that you can be there is that you go to valerielove.com, and right there on the front page, you're going to scroll down and you are going to see that you can apply for the plant medicine ritual and retreat. I also want to make sure that you know that next year, August 1st through the 8th, 1st to the 10th, 1st to the 8th, look it up. It's on the website. We will be, 1st to the 8th, we will be in Bali, luxury retreat, the Do Nothing retreat, where you will be able to actually have a dopamine reset, detox from dopamine, daily massages, clarity on your vision, yoga, delicious food, in-house chef, luxury villa. We love our luxury villas in Bali. We love them. And deepen into the sacred art of rejuvenation, restoration, doing nothing. Then in September, we will be in Egypt, September 20th to the 30th. That's the dates. And while we're in Egypt, we're going to take you to the pyramids of Giza, like we do with our retreats. We're going to take you to the Sphinx, of course, the huge, gigantic new museum. And of course, link is in the bio, not bio, description. And we're going to take you to Colossae Memnon. We're going to take you to Queen Hatshepsut's mortuary temple. We're going to take you to Karnak temples, Luxor temples. We're going to take you to the West Bank, so you go to the Valley of the Kings. You'll see the tomb of Tutankhamun. There's an incredible display of grave goods, funerary goods from Tut. We know him in America as Tutankhamun, King Tut. Tutankhamun. You're going to be going there to see his tomb. And of course, we're going to take you to Temple of Philae, where this is where the goddesses are. Isis Hathor, or Aset Hathor. Incredible. If you're a spiritual seeker, Egypt is the place. Egypt, Egypt, Egypt. So I'm going to show you how you can find out, and then we're going to continue with our continued list. So I want you to go to valerielove.com, and when you get to valerielove.com, you are going to see right here that we have the Winter Solstice Ritual and Retreat. You can apply there. You are going to see the Do Nothing Retreat in Bali. Go there for details. It will give you all the details. And you will see that we have the Magic and Manifestation Retreat in Egypt. Go there for details, and you will find out all about it. So I want to make sure that you know about those and that you join us. Okay. Here we go. Let's continue. Now, let me make sure. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so you let me know in the comments if you have any questions about that, and I will make sure to answer them for you. I read all my comments. I actually do read all my comments. I love reading y'all comments. They are so freaking amazing. I learned so much reading y'all comments. All right, let's continue. Now, do we talk about Heru? Yes, because the evil Uncle Set wanted to get him. Mahavira. This is not the founder of Jainism. This is a reformer of Jainism. His mother, Queen Trishala, experienced a dozen or more prophetic dreams about his birth. She just kept having prophetic dreams about him: white elephants, lions, the moon. So it tells you that someone spectacular is about to come onto the scene. St. Catherine of Siena, her mother dreamed she carried a dove in her womb. A dove. A dove is a symbol of the Holy Spirit. Yes, in Christian iconography. When the baby was born, a light filled the room. Queen Maya. In Buddhist traditions, it is said that the devas, or the celestial beings that we were speaking of last week, surrounded her at birth, and that there was a light emanating from the baby that pierced 7 worlds. Princess Barry, a Korean goddess who was abandoned at birth and protected by spirits as she developed into being a goddess of healing and death. So you will see that here in the book, I gave you 33 different stories that fulfill the exposed infant, exposed hero motif. Let's go up to the top. Exposed infant motif, the exposed infant motif, the divine child motif, and the foundling motif. I promise you, look in the books that you are studying, and then I'm going to tell you about Sargon before we close. Look in the books that you are reading and see if you can find these motifs. Let's talk about Sargon. Sargon's mother, I'll tell you a little bit about Sargon right here. Sargon of Akkad, because many people say, a lot of scholars say this, and I can see why, that the Moses character, when they invented Moses, he's not a historical figure at all. When they invented Moses, they may have patterned him on Sargon of Akkad, who would have been a super larger than life character in their day, like Trump is a larger than life character in our day. Whether you like him or don't like him, I don't really care. I'm not on either side. Whether you like him or don't like him, pretty much everybody on the planet knows about him, right? It's same with Sargon. Sargon was that kind of a person that lots of people knew about him, but we don't know about him unless we study him in school, because Sargon is not one of those people from history. Yet Sargon's mother, I'll tell you about Sargon, his mother. Here it is. Sargon's story is legendary, while Moses is a myth. And I share the difference between a legend and a myth. Well, Sargon's mother was a high priestess in the temple of Inanna. And she was, this is a very high level elite group of people, and they would have been living in the temple and doing rituals and things like that. She was of the Intu class. This is an elite class of people. And she took vows of celibacy. So you can imagine that when she turned up pregnant, that was going to be a problem, because you're not supposed to be doing nothing like that. But somehow she had to love her. Hello. Go Sargon's mother. She had a little something going on in the temple. And so she hid the pregnancy. Now, how you hide a pregnancy in the temple for all that time, I don't know. 10 moons is a pregnancy, not 9 months. That comes from Western flawed medicine. 10 moons. You're pregnant for 40 weeks. 4 weeks a moon. That's 10 moons. 28 days. That is a gestation period for a human being. Well, Sargon's mother, she hid the pregnancy. When she gave birth to him, she hid him in a basket that she sealed with bitumen, and she put it in the basket, which is like a sealant, right? Waterproof. So the water would not seep through the basket to the baby, drown the baby. And she sealed it. She puts the baby in it, and she puts him on the Euphrates River. So now I want to ask you a question. How many babies did we talk about in this conversation that were floating on a river in a basket? Nothing unique about the Moses story. This doesn't mean I don't love the Moses story. I love the Moses story. I just realized it's not unique. There's nothing unique about the Moses story. Nothing whatsoever. Nothing unique whatsoever about the Moses story. Nothing unique about the Jesus birth story. The Jesus birth narrative, even if Jesus was a historical person, was invented decades after he died. It's an invented story, him being born of a virgin, this whole idea that Herod wanted to kill him, that there was a star in the east that the Magi followed. This is a total invention. That's hard for many people to accept. It's very difficult. Yet Bible scholars are talking about this all the time, like it's normal, like it's common knowledge. Yet, if you go to any church and you talk to people that are from church, they will swear you down. They will die on the mountain that Jesus was born of a virgin. They will die on that hill. They will die on that hill, and it's completely made up. So, why do I say these things? Why are we even talking about this? Why am I even writing this book? Why are we even having this series? Why? For us to free ourselves from the yoke of religion, free ourselves, clear our mind, be free beings, and unfold our spirituality according to divine order and divine will, which comes from within. There is no angry God. If humanity doesn't get rid of an angry God, we're going to continue to be angry and keep fighting and warring with each other because humanity worships a warring God. So why wouldn't you stop warring? You worship a God that smokes people at will, that says, kill the women, kill the men, kill the children. You worship a jealous God. So of course you're going to be jealous. And you're going to think that jealousy is a virtue because that's how your God is. No. We did not come from this. We did not come from something that was out there killing and warring and blowing up people from heaven, throwing brimstone and fire, people in Sodom and Gomorrah, and let us go down and confuse the languages. Who is this God talking to? Dear Christians, tell it, let us make man and woman in our image. Who is this God talking to? To hear Christians tell it, oh, that's the Trinity. See, that's what happens when you don't read books. That's what happens when you don't read books. When was the Trinity invented? Hundreds of years after Jesus, they invented the Trinity. So when did they write? There's about 600 years difference between when they wrote, let us make man in our image, and the invention of the Trinity. This is not Reverend Val saying it. This is common knowledge. You can ask the AI. You can check it for yourself. I love when Christians come up and say, oh, when we say, who is God talking to in Genesis? Let us make man in our image. It's the damn Anunnaki. Oh, that was the Trinity. And they're so definitive in their answer. They think that they're so smart and so smug. They say, oh, that's God in the Trinity. Wow. They really fooled you, didn't they? They hoodwinked you. They hoodwinked you. They hoodwinked you. And you drank it. You drank all the Kool-Aid. You drank all the Kool-Aid. Family, stop drinking this Kool-Aid and get your critical glasses on. And like we all love to do here, critical thinking. These were the Anunnaki talking. The Bible, it has about 20 different Anunnaki in it. That's according to Mauro Biglino, Bible translator. He knows Hebrew Bible inside and out. He knows the Hebrew language inside and out. He said, wait a minute, this isn't talking about one true God. Like we were told it was talking about. It was talking about 20 of the Anunnaki running around, being rulers and magistrates. Boom. The AI agrees with me. That's it. If you want to join us in the Mystery School, we meet tonight. We meet on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to join us in the Mystery School, the link is below. We would love to have you in the Mystery School. You can get a 7-day free trial of the Mystery School and join us in the discussion. We are deep into the discussion of the tarot right now, and we just completed the Hanged Man, and we're going into death, the death card in the tarot, the death card in the tarot. Incredible, right? All right, family, that is it for this episode of The Real God Is Not in the Bible. I love you. Peace. Kais, yeah.